Welcome to Senpai 360. Tonight we're looking at the subject of the clash of civilizations. On the subject, homosexuality and abortion. Whereas this subject has provoked a lot of media coverage, the ensuing lack of debate has suffocated the people's ability to discuss it. In Europe, it is a vice. In Africa, in Europe, it's a right, and in Africa, it's called a right. And let me say that one more time. For the European, homosexuality is a human right, but for the Africans, it's a human vice. In the ensuing clash between the West and conservative pro-family Africa, there's been voices that have been speaking out about it. Yours truly has been speaking about it at a great price. And also here today, I have someone from Ethiopia, a beacon of light who has been speaking about this. He's a general surgeon by profession. This is Dr. Seyum Antonios, Executive Director of United for Life Ethiopia, who has said that Africa shall be a graveyard for the homosexual agenda. Keep your hands together. Give a hand clap to Dr. Seyum Antonios.
Praise the Lord.
Woo! That is a fearless statement. Are you willing to say it again?
Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege for me to say it again. Africa shall be a graveyard for the homosexual agenda. For this,
Doctor, a lot of people have been afraid to talk. We even now go to the point where we don't even know what we are talking about because they use fancy phrases, gay, LGBT, happy people. I'd like you to share with us, first of all, tell us about you from Ethiopia, Antonios. Here in Uganda, Antonios is a restaurant. We have one called Antonio. where is that Greek? Where is Antonios?
No, my family has a Catholic background, and my father got that Christian name from the Catholic Church when he was baptized. Otherwise, we are pure Ethiopians. We don't have any other connection with the Western world.
Wow, Ethiopian.
Ethiopia.
All we hear about Ethiopia is Africa Union, and sometimes we fight over the River Nile with Sudan and Egypt.
Yeah.
But tell us about Ethiopia.
Ethiopia now is in a state of huge development. I mean, it is time for that nation to rise up, and there are huge infrastructure development activities going on, and the economy is developing, and people are now waking up, and now we are seeing light. We're seeing light, and I'm happy about that. You've heard about the Renaissance Dam, which the nation is building by its own without any external help.
Really?
Yeah. It's a huge project, the first in Africa.
Wow.
About 5,000 or more megawatt energy.
Wow.
That would be coming out in the near future, and that by itself has been a huge issue. I mean, the Western powers didn't want that to be built, but by the grace of God, things are going smoothly. Amen.
There is a certain level of pride that Ethiopians have. Whenever we talk about resistance to colonialism, when we talk about Africa Union, the headquarters is in Ethiopia. Then when Rastafarians talk a lot about Haile Selassie, a lot of pride that you resisted. Now you're fighting a different cultural imposition on homosexuality. Tell us about this.
Yeah, I mean, like you said it earlier, this issue is coming as a human rights issue. And those nations, the Western nations, are trying to impose that on Ethiopia. Because,
really?
Yeah, because they know if they succeed in Ethiopia, they would get the whole of Africa. Because Ethiopia, as you know, the capital of Africa, all the nations gather together there. And so it's a strategic war.
We thought it was only here in Uganda that they are pushing it, and South Africa and Kenya.
No, no.
Now, what do Ethiopians think? What is your cultural view about the marriage of men marrying other men? What is your view? Is there any precedence?
It is, I mean, an abomination. Everybody thinks about it as an abomination. No one wants to talk about it even. I mean, marriage between a man and a man, between a woman and a woman is something which nobody wants to.
You don't even want to talk
about it. Yeah, so it's so let alone to make it legal. So we are in one voice telling the world that if you impose the issue of homosexuality in the name of rights and by I mean, threatening us with aid, gay aid, then we told the nations in one voice that go away with your money. We don't need it, because our development comes from heaven, not from the
really?
Money. Yeah. That's
how comes we're not hearing this? I have to tell you, one of the things I've noticed is a suffocation of information.
Exactly.
Especially on this agenda of homosexuality.
Exactly.
They only report when they're doing good. When they find resistance, proud men and women of God saying, no, take your money away. They don't report about you. But we're just so happy about that.
Yeah, but
let's give a hand clap to Ethiopia. This is awesome.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Now, I know that this is not easy, because when America speaks, the world listens. When Europe speaks, the world listens. One of my professors, Mamdani, says that, you know, the connection between colonial masters and the colonies, that when somebody coughs in London, those in Kampala, they catch a cold. You know, someone sneezes in London. Now, Cameroon is sneezing gay rights, homosexual rights. Obama is snuffing, I mean, shout, gay rights. Then European Union, gay rights, homosexual rights. And now they have gone through to South Africa. Let us know, how have you guys survived as a result of this pressure?
You know, you've mentioned about it. We had a great meeting, a national meeting. I mean, a national response against this issue. We gathered together at the seat of the African Union, the new African Union headquarters, and we, in one voice, I mean, the religious leaders, the professionals, every, even parliamentarians were there. Every member of the society came together and voiced that Ethiopia will never tolerate the homosexual agenda. In fact, when we did that, there was so much outcry from the gay activists worldwide. You can get it if you Google around, and you'll find it. And eventually, you know what happened? The last Newsweek issue in December of 2013, you'll see it on the front cover. It says Ethiopia's war on homosexuals. In fact, they misquoted me. I said Africa shall be a graveyard for homosexuality. Yeah, homosexuality. And they wrote Ethiopia a graveyard for homosexuals. That's how you. So
by intention, trying to distort the message from fighting the agenda, but then they want to make you look like a genocider.
Exactly.
One who kills people.
Yeah.
You are a general practitioner, okay? I can see over here in your brief, you're a general surgeon by profession. You don't kill people for a living. You help people to get well.
Exactly.
What in your estimation, and I'm going to come to this, you will tell us the consequences and the bad damages of homosexuality. But I want to stay with this issue, the collective response. And Charles, I think we have some footage over there of that meeting in the Africa Union Hall. Where how did you manage to bring Muslims, Orthodox, and other civil society members together in the Africa? How did you manage to pull that up? Do they all have a united view on this, or are they divided?
They have a united view. Every religion in Ethiopia is against homosexuality. And when we made a call to them to come together and raise their voice against it, they had nothing against that. So they just came, and we gathered together. More than 2,000 people were there, and there were foreign journalists, local journalists. But unfortunately, as you said, there was some kind of suppression of that news from coming out. Yeah.
That is usual. They don't want to show. They never want to show, because the editor, sometime in many of these international publications, is a homo. The associate editor is a homo. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs is a homo. And when you have that all together, anytime there is a people gathering in a peaceful way in Africa Union headquarters, discussing this issue, hearing about the damage homosexuality is, they don't want that to go out.
Exactly.
Have they threatened you? Have you found threats or being, because for me they have threatened me, you shouldn't travel overseas. ICC, I have a case at the ICC. There's a case against my friends in Boston, okay? And they are, you know, they have petitioned ICC that my preaching against these bad manners of homosexuality, not attacking homosexual, but the bad manners, that I should be tried at The Hague for crimes against humanity. Have you felt persecution? Have they attacked you financially or smeared you?
Yeah, there was a smear campaign, in fact, over the internet, over the social media. I mean, things which I didn't say, like in the Newsweek, which I've already told you. Things which I didn't say, they just misquoted me. Even they said that I had organized. In fact, if you read the Newsweek article, it says that Ssempa has vowed not to stop the fight until homosexuals are killed. The death penalty is passed. I mean, so this is a total lie. And even if you go to the internet, they have.
What did you really say?
What I said was, Africa and Ethiopia shall be graveyards
for the agenda. Of homosexuals, exactly. to teach our sons how to men to marry men.
Exactly.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break. Fearlessly here at Ssempa 360, we bring everything that impacts faith and families. We're going to take a quick break. When we do come back, we're going to talk to my good friend, Dr. Ssempa Antonios, who has suffered so much for standing for such a simple truth of man should marry a woman and produce a family. When Europeans and Americans converged against him, we're going to hear what he spoke to them in terms of what is the impact homosexual activity does to the person. Don't go away. Call somebody to watch this show. And right now he's this week he's at All Saints, where he's going to be doing a series of meetings on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday evening. You're going to get in touch with him, and he has some resources that I would love for you guys to see. Don't go away. Stay with us on Ssempa 360. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Ssempa 360, fearlessly contending with the lie that it is normal in Ethiopia for a man to marry another man. We're hearing from Dr. Ssempa Antonios. He's a man, executive director of United for Life Ethiopia, who has brought his country together to have a national dialogue on this subject of homosexuality. Unfortunately, as it has happened in Uganda, those who come together to discuss and oppose in a democratic way are labeled haters, are labeled murderers, and they try to vilify them. But he has fearlessly proclaimed this. He's this week speaking at All Saints Church of Uganda, and he's holding a series of meetings on Wednesday night, evening, Thursday, and Friday. Dr. Ssempa, you just held a meeting of all the people in Ethiopia, the leaders. What did they say? What was their collective voice? Bring homosexuality to Ethiopia?
No. They all said, we don't want this thing to come to our nation in the name of human rights. And they openly said, we don't want your money. Because there was a threat from the Western nations that if we don't accept homosexuality as a rights issue, all the assistance, the funding that comes would be cut. And our people in one voice said, we don't need your money. we want our nation to be free from such immoral activities. Wow. Because it won't help our generation, it won't help our children, so we don't want it. That was the collective response.
Now, when you made that statement, you made a proclamation.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Orthodox Church. Mm-hmm. I saw Muslims in there. Evangelicals. Isn't this unusual? Is this historical, the gathering?
It's historical. It could be called the first in Africa as well. I mean, because all religious groups coming together in one voice saying no to homosexuality is historic. And it is also a milestone for Africa. That's how we consider it, because in fact it's a model for other African nations to follow it. In our documentary which we did, we have clearly said that all other African nations should follow suit. And denounce the agenda of homosexuality in being imposed in the African continent.
Now, as a doctor, what is wrong with homosexuality? There are some people who have many arguments. They are like, look, what someone does in the privacy of their bedroom should be nobody's business. You people just keep quiet, leave the people alone, let them do what they want to do. It's their peace and freedom. Live and let live. Yeah. How do you respond to somebody?
First and foremost, I mean, telling the truth is not homophobia. I mean, we are telling the truth. And anything, I mean, any homosexual activity which is done in the, I mean, within a room will eventually go out and infect the other parts of the community. It's a lie that it will stay in the bedroom or wherever it is. It's a lie, because those people who practice homosexuality, it has been already researched and found out that they are pedophiles. They will go out and start abusing children. Even number one, gay rights activists are by themselves pedophiles. They have been accused of pedophile activities. The other problems with...
well, just to add on that, first of all, when Americans and Europeans were told a lie that, oh, we just do it, leave us alone, leave us in privacy. That was about 20 years ago. But today, they're being forced to conduct marriages. Cake bakers are being sued that they don't make cakes for homos. Every company has to change its policy. Even foreign policy has to change. Now you can't even get to do business with USAID, with the proclamation of Obama that every grant of United States aid agency must have a component of pushing homosexuality. So what they were saying private, they were lying. They knew what they were doing. They want to take over, but they start by fooling you. Oh, it's just a privacy. In fact, Scott Lively, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. One of the things that he has written in his book, I forget which book, he talks about the 4 stages of homosexuality. Stage number 1, they say, just leave us alone. We just want to be tolerant. And most people know that one. Stage number 2, they say, we are equality. Leave us, we just want to be. If I marry a woman, you marry a woman, I marry a man. But now you can't go back. Now they demand the same right. Stage number 3 is affirmative action.
Exactly.
Where they say, look, since we've been oppressed for such a long time, we also need special rights, like women rights. So for every 5 politicians, you want 3 gays.
Exactly.
3 scholarship, they want 1 scholarship. The final stage he talks about is the stage of hate crimes, where any dissent is criminalized, where preachers have, the Bibles have to be put away, like in Canada. Pastors are forced to do gay weddings, and it creates a very hostile atmosphere. So most people only hear what they do in the privacy. They just know stage 1. They don't know stage 2. They're equal. They don't know stage 3, affirmative action for homosexuals. They don't know stage 4, criminalizing any dissent, so that God, Bible, preachers, elders are now going to be held at the Hague, ICC.
In fact,
is that something that you guys are aware of in Ethiopia?
Exactly. In fact, the whole agenda of homosexuality is criminalizing Christianity. We have to know that, because these 2 things cannot go together.
There's irreconcilable differences.
Exactly. So they want Christianity to be criminalized, wherever it is. So
or recreate a Bible free, because they got now a
new gay Bible,
a new homosexual, where there is the scriptures have been pulled out.
Exactly. They have a new version which they call the Queen James version. Queen James version.
Not King James
Not
version.
King James.
This is terrible.
They consider King James as a bisexual, and they say he had a female side of him. So they say we have to as a legacy for him. They said we need to call this version.
So you see this as an irreconcilable difference of a clash between Christianity and homosexuality.
So we need to learn from the mistakes of the Western church.
What do you think we can learn from their mistakes?
Because they kept quiet. They thought when homosexuality was at stage 1, they thought this is something simple.
Yes, just leave them alone.
Leave them alone. We shouldn't do anything against them because it won't do any harm to us. They said that. But now what has happened? They have reached already stage 4 in the Western nations. If you speak anything, even in the pulpit, you'll be sued. But now we Africans need to learn from their mistakes. In fact, they are now telling us, learn from our mistakes.
We were quiet.
Yeah, but
they need to write a book called "I Was Wrong."
Yeah, sure. So, so it's time for Africa to wake up. I mean, if we don't learn from their mistakes, in fact, we are worse. I mean, that's what I believe. So
I have to say something. When Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton was at a human rights conference in, I don't know, what was it? Was it Geneva?
Geneva.
And she said, homosexual rights are human rights. And if you have a religion or a culture that opposes, you just have to get over it.
Yeah.
So she just declared Christianity, African culture, Ethiopian culture, we are all criminals.
Exactly. I mean, human... she said it's not only a human rights issue, it's a natural phenomenon, which is totally wrong. Their own researchers, known researchers in the US have proved beyond reasonable doubt that homosexuality is the most unnatural thing on earth. I mean, we need to talk about that as well if we have time, because what they do in secret, in fact, if you read their agenda, which they wrote some 25 years back in Warrenton, Virginia. If you go and look into it, you know what it says. We should not talk about what we do in secret. If we talk about it in public, it's like handing a stick to our opponents with which they will beat us. So they don't want us to know what they do in secret, because they know for themselves that what they do in secret is not acceptable by the society and will definitely affect the society as well, both
so they
physically.
They never discuss what homosexuals do.
Exactly.
So they always discuss some kind of fraudulent status, gay,
exactly,
LGBT.
Exactly.
And we don't. I mean, sometimes you want LGBT. Is that a Mercedes? Is that is that a vehicle? Is that a Toyota version? We don't even know. It's all couched in these technical languages. So now, when you guys make this decision and you said, no, we don't want our children to do this. Now, you need to understand the power of foreign policy, that at the UN, they are making a policy. At Africa Union, they are making policies. Uganda came up with a law against homosexuality. I don't know if you heard about it. We came up with a law against it. Exactly. And they put so much pressure on us that even our courts were overrun.
Exactly.
Our houses of legislature were overrun.
I know.
What have you done to codify your position as the people of Ethiopia in terms of your democratic rights, saying that this is who we are, these are our aspirations? What have you done?
Already, homosexuality is a criminal act in the penal code in Ethiopia. It's already there. So what we are trying to do is we want to keep that law, not to be changed by external pressure. We have already asked the government. In fact, the meeting we did in 2015 in 2013, the African Union is not the first one. We did also another one earlier in 2010, and we asked the government clearly that this thing, I mean, the issue of marriage between a man and a woman should be clearly stated within our constitution. It should, because if it's stated there, it will have a definite legal protection. That's what we asked. And
do you have definitions of gender? Because the other thing that I do is they redefine gender now. Because in Europe and America now, gender, that is a biological state of being either male or female based on your biological fact. Now it's no longer built on biological facts.
Exactly.
It's built on emotions.
Exactly, that's what we say.
And I really think that as a country, we need to have clear definitions of gender. Right now, it's not clear. I mean, do you have clear definition of gender?
We have a clear definition of gender. There is no confusion about the definition of marriage. It's not between two people, like what the Westerners are saying. It's an act, a contract between a man and a woman. And I mean, where does marriage, the definition of marriage, come from? It comes from the Bible. I mean, it's God Himself who created marriage. It's not a Supreme Court anywhere, in the U.S. or not. So it is God who, if need be, who should redefine marriage, because it's His own making. So in this book, it's clearly written that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Are you yourself married?
I'm married
to a woman?
To a woman, and have 3 daughters.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. You're on Ssempa 360. We're getting the view from just our neighbors up in Ethiopia. I know we clashed in Sudan. I'll ask him a little bit about that. We were having a showdown, Uganda, Sudan. But really now, we all seem to be united. It's not Machar or Salva Kiir. We all seem to be united on one issue. We cannot allow homosexuality to overrun Africa.
Amen.
Stay with us. When we do come back, we're going to find out about Dr. Seyu Antonios, Executive Director of United for Life, about marriage and what we can do as Africa to protect ourselves and our future. Stay with us on Ssempa 360. Ssempa 360, fearlessly entering where others fear to go. The world is debating on the civilization clash between the West and Africa. It's no doubt that for a long time, homosexuality as a vice has existed, and we've known it as a taboo and a vice. The problem now is part of the global community, namely America, Europe, Canada, South America, has decided that this issue should be known as a right. I'm ringing out in the corridors of power: Geneva, human rights, United Nations, USAID, American external agencies. Commands have been given to fight for the legitimation of homosexuality. Meanwhile, in Africa, our religious leaders, our medical practitioners, our cultural leaders continue to teach our young people that it is a vice. In the ensuement, Uganda has had a clash over the anti-homosexuality law. I just discovered that even in Ethiopia, the debate is very healthy and many are coming forth. Dr. Seyu Antonios is a general practitioner who's now spending more of his time speaking about this to awaken Africans and Ethiopia. He's given a quotation that says, as far as the homosexual agenda, he says, Africa shall be a graveyard for the homosexual agenda.
Amen.
Now, is there a program at all to help rehabilitate? I saw in one of your videos a young man who had gotten into homosexuality. He had been molested by his uncle, and now he's in the process of rehabilitation. Is there any program or people are offering counseling in Ethiopia on this subject?
Yeah, the whole purpose of United for Life establishment of our organization is to help such type of people. And we are giving counseling services, and people are really coming out of this abominable way of life. They went in believing that they will get satisfaction, but when they went in, they found out it was just empty. In fact, causing so much destruction in their lives. And the person whom you saw in that documentary is suffering from HIV/AIDS.
Oh no!
Because he contracted it through the homosexual practice. And that's why he came out and said, "Please learn from me. I'm suffering from HIV/AIDS and its consequences. So we are helping people. In fact, what we do is we teach the community what homosexuality really is, because it's that the lack of knowledge that's causing so much problem, both at the grassroots level and at the policymakers level. So we are teaching the community. That's why we produced a documentary on the issue.
There's a documentary right over here. Maybe you can show it to us. Let me bring that up over here so you guys can see it. If you could come in over here. This is Homosexuality, Sexual Right, or the Pinnacle of Immorality. This is a video DVD that you did.
Yeah.
What is in here? And is it available when you are speaking at All Saints?
Yeah, it's available already, and people can get it. And the whole purpose of us producing this DVD is for the community, for the people to know what homosexuality is really about. I mean, we have covered the historical aspect.
Oh, I see guys here. What is this picture here? Well, I see there's three men who are pulling each other. What is this going on? Is it rugby? Are these playing rugby? What is it?
No, they are men who are hugging one another. They are people who have married to one another. We don't know which one is the husband, which one is the wife. But this is how they are portraying themselves. So we teach the community, and we also give counseling services. And we don't stay in Ethiopia alone. Our purpose is for the whole of Africa to be saved from the scourge of sexual immorality in the name of human rights issue.
One of the biggest problems that I've had, I want to tell you, Dr. Ssempa, is that I have had people come to me asking for counseling. I've tried to fundraise money to set up a counseling center. I talked with the major, denominations. Normally, it's American churches that usually donate, whether it is handicapped or children's program. Now, there is no, there is no Western church or group at all that is interested in putting any money in this. So then I bring lesbians into my home. I had a lesbian in my home. My wife and I were taking care of her because she got pregnant. And then the other lesbians threw her out. She had a boyfriend. She had a girlfriend. You know, they go back and forth. She got pregnant, and then they threw her out. And here I am, keeping her in my home, and yet the homosexuals are also trying to work through her. I mean, some of these are addicted. Some have got criminal tendencies and everything. So it put my family at risk. But we kept her and helped her give birth to a baby. She stole some things from me. But we had issues. But we need to have a center. And every time I talk to people, young people, please, I need counseling. I have married people who are caught up in homosexuality and they want to get out. The wives are calling me, the husbands are telling me, I want to get out. Is there like an addiction center that I can go in where there's 12-step processes, program? And we don't have one here. And my struggle has been, I find many people of goodwill. I find very few people are willing to put money, whether it's government, Ministry of Gender, whether it's churches. Have you been more successful than we have here?
It's the same, even there, it's the same. I mean, nobody wants to fund. We had the same problem in Ethiopia. I mean, we had the design, everything set up, and we want
design for what?
For the rehabilitation center, for the crisis pregnancy center, for abortion victims, and also for the rehabilitation rehab center for the homosexuals. But we couldn't get any money to make that a reality.
That is terrible.
So we are doing that we are doing the counseling services in our office. We are helping them in all what we can do. When you talk on those issues to Westerners, even churches, they stop. I mean, they quit speaking.
They do.
Yeah. So
my friends, I had friends in America. Not all of them, but I have some friends who told me. One of them is Rick Warren. He's my personal friend. I brought his books into this country. I mean, I shared them with thousands of people. But when we came up with a law against homosexuality, he stopped talking to me. Yeah. And he brought more homosexuals in his church, and he's trying to make himself, I'm gay friendly, I'm a gay friendly pastor. Ugandan pastors don't make laws, don't support laws. I don't know if we are misreported that we're trying to kill. We're not trying to kill
No,
people.
not
We're
at all.
standing for what the Bible teaches,
Yeah.
that says, look, man marries a woman,
Exactly.
and this homosexuality is a vice that can be overcome. I mean, I'm not a policeman walking around shooting. Boop, 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 boop.
No, the life, I mean, the lifestyle itself kills them. We don't have to fight for them to be killed because the lifestyle
Unfortunately.
is destructive.
Tragic, yeah.
Tragic. And we have, I mean...
What are the statistics of homosexuals and HIV/AIDS? Are you familiar with that?
Where?
In maybe Ethiopia or Africa, sub-Saharan Africa?
Yeah, the HIV rate is around 8% on average in those countries, and this is a huge number. And you must know that that number is the result of the homosexual lifestyle. Recently, I had a figure coming out from the CDC from America, and it says 61% of new HIV infections are because of homosexual activity, sex between 1%.
So if anyone is interested in stopping HIV/AIDS, they must be interested in stopping.
Exactly. So it's a total lie. I mean, they are telling us that they want to control HIV/AIDS, but at the same time, they are pushing the gay agenda. I mean, it's like putting diesel or petrol into the fuel. So we have to be right. I mean, we are people who have sound minds, and we should not be cheated. We should not be considered as people who do not think.
I want to ask you what a parent can do to teach his child, or what parents can do, but I want to, on that particular point, if somebody in one step is saying, we want to stop HIV/AIDS, and we are giving drugs, we are giving ARVs and everything, but then at the same time, that same person is funding the spread of HIV/AIDS. So more and more people, this homosexuality spread more and more HIV. Don't you think that the economic gains of the pharmaceutical companies might be the overarching reason why these people are even giving some kind of aid? Because in the end, when you look at some of these development health programs, their major issue is condoms, ARVs, and condoms, and ARVs, and sexual rights.
Exactly. So, I mean, we have to know that AIDS is killing Africa. In fact, we need to stand up and say it. AIDS is killing Africa. We need to find out means and ways to sustain ourselves without depending on external donors. I mean, how long are we going to continue getting money? It's time for Africa. I mean, it's time for Africa to rise up. Yeah.
Come on, this is a good point. Come on, let's give a hand clap to my man. Give a hand clap. Now, I want you to bring me in because I want to talk to the Africans who are watching me. The brother we're talking to right now, Dr. Seyum Antonios, is from Ethiopia. And he's trying to get a rehabilitation center going in Ethiopia. And I know some of you send money in other parts of the world. That's fine. But if you want to get in touch with Dr. Seyum, maybe you are watching him online and you want to get in touch with him, I want to give you his email so you can get in touch with him and see if we could help form and build. Maybe parents can help. Even in Uganda, if you want to get in touch with me, I'll give you my contact. It's important that we put up African-led initiatives which are funded, because if he does a project, I had a project funded by Global Fund and at Makerere University, it's never been funded again when we stood against homosexuality. USA probably will do nothing, and so HIV will go on. Interreligious Council of Uganda, they had to cut their grant because they stood against homosexuality and they stood for natural man and woman marriage. So we need what he's saying to us, Africans. If we're going to teach our children the culture that we have and the faith that we have, we need to fund our programs. Don't expect Mr. Sam or Cameron or European Union, maybe even the French ambassador in Charlie Hebdo's or all that, to fund it. It's going to be us. So stand up, get in touch with him, get in touch with me on the number on your screen so we can be able. What's your email? What's your email now?
UnitedForLifeEthiopia@yahoo.com.
Okay, that is again what?
United for Life Ethiopia. Straight. UnitedForLifeEthiopia at yahoo.com. There is something which I'd like to say as a final remark, if we have time. I mean, you know, there are certain organizations, even in Uganda. I know of one who are trying to teach our children that anal intercourse is normal, masturbation is normal. And there is an organization which
sexual deviance is normal.
Exactly.
And they exist to perpetuate these vices.
Exactly. There is one which is working since 2012 in Uganda, and which came to Ethiopia, and we are fighting that. I mean, so we, those groups, in the name of comprehensive sexuality education, are trying to inculcate this homosexual.
What should we do about it?
I mean, they should be banned. They should be outlawed. I mean, we have our own culture, and we need to stand up against them and say no. That's what we are doing in Ethiopia. You can know. I mean, if your children, which you are trying to raise,
and you have 3 girls.
Yes.
How old are your kids?
13. The eldest one is 17, 13, and 11. Wow. So my children going to school, if they learn that homosexuality is a natural phenomenon, they are killing my kids. So we have to stand up against that. And you know, this is a part of a continent-wide agenda. You know, in September of 2013, there was a meeting in Addis.
We have 1 more minute.
In Addis, and it was organized by ICP, the International Conference for Population and Development. It was organized in the name of population and development, but at the end of the day, the agenda was about, I mean, making homosexuality legal in all African nations, decriminalizing the laws which are against homosexuality. And it was only 17 nations which stood up and said no. But in that list, if you see, Uganda is not there.
Really?
Yeah, Nigeria is not there. Ghana is not there.
So, I mean, these people are playing behind our backs.
Exactly.
We certainly now, I have to say that the price for freedom is eternal diligence.
Exactly.
Let me say that again. The price for freedom of us and our children is eternal vigilance. And I thank you, Dr. Sayum, for coming over. He's a guest of the All Saints Church Cathedral, where he's holding a series of meetings. So it's from 5:30 to 8 every day, and Friday is an overnight. So anyway, I want to let you know, and then you can be able to reach him at his email, unitedforlifeethiopia@yahoo.com. And those homos who are trying to attack him or harm him, leave him alone. Our prayers are with him. I want everybody to pray. This doctor, he's a general practitioner. He's doing a great job. I know homos are against him, but God is on his side, and Africa is proud of you, sir.
Amen.
God bless you so much. Let's give a hand clap to this man.
Praise the Lord.
And don't forget to get a copy of this video. It's over here. Homosexuality, sexual right, or the pinnacle of immorality. On Senpai 360, we'll be back again. Same place. Have a good night. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
This is
very
great.
powerful.
This is great. I would like to get a copy of this myself.
Yeah, okay.